folks, how's it going? We got something for you.
That's right. It's a long overdue review of the latest in the franchise, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Or
Have
in
you
French, SOS Fantôme. Have you seen it? Watch it. Watch this. We'll be right back.
There.
Two guys talking, saying anything, nothing new to say, talking anyway. Stop yammering, can't hear a thing, nothing I can do. So let's have one more brew. One more brew. Let's have one more brew. One more brew. Stop talking, try listening, try anything, try whistling. There you go again, saying anything, nothing I can do. So let's have one more brew. One more brew. Let's have one more brew. One more brew.
That's Dude.
That's Dude.
And
welcome to Lazyboys Night. Oh, yeah.
You know, I wanted to try this beer as the moment I saw the can.
Oh, shit.
Not that
Oh.
good head.
Oh.
Not that the can is particularly pretty, but I just like the name of this beer. It's called
Noice.
Noice India Pale Ale from Parsons Brewing Company. You know what? I have a feeling this is a breakfast beer.
It says strong beer.
Yeah, but smell
It's an
the thing.
Indian Pale Ale strong beer.
Yeah, but smell it. This is a breakfast beer.
What? I'm so confused right now. Which one is it?
Well, breakfast beers are just hazy IPAs. This is just an
It doesn't
IPA.
say hazy.
I know it doesn't say hazy, but smell it.
It's
Come
because
on.
it's the
You know what?
tortoise that makes it hazy.
Yeah, it's the tortoise. Maybe they want us to eat turtle soup with it. I don't know. All right.
See, this one's a smart turtle. It doesn't have a straw struck up with his nose.
Or a six-pack ring around its
Yeah,
head.
see,
There you
that's
go.
a smart turtle. They do exist, smart turtles.
All right, there you go.
Tortoises. Cheers. Let's try this out.
Breakfast beer.
Wow, that's a good breakfast
It's nice.
beer.
It's got a slight little
Yeah.
bitterness to it, but nothing overpowering. So it's a nice balance between that and the fruitiness. It's really good. This is I would say this is like a more sophisticated breakfast.
It is. This
Yeah.
is maybe a little bit. You've missed brunch, but you're at the end of brunch.
Yeah, it's too
And
early for lunch.
You could still order a la carte, where you're going, no, I came in for the breakfast, I came in for brunch. So you're like in that in between, and they're switching off kegs and things like that, and they hand you this over, and you're drinking it and going, this is a breakfast beer. You know what? I will go a la carte. Bring me Eggs Benny, classic.
What? Back bacon would be nice at this.
Eggs Benny with
Yeah.
back bacon.
So for Americans, you call it Canadian bacon. We call it back bacon because we're in Canada, so Canadian bacon is redundant. Bacon is just bacon strips like everything else for us.
You know how India has the Kama Sutra? Well, we have all these bacon references. As in back bacon, bacon,
So,
all this fun bacon stuff.
Bacon.
69 bacon. You've had it, right?
Good job, Parsons. 69 bacon.
Dollar store bacon.
Dollar
Do
store
you-
bacon. If you're a fan, you know what we're talking about.
Do you have dollar store bacon?
No.
We do.
So what are we doing tonight, dude?
Oh, we already told them what we're doing.
I know, but I want to refresh for
Okay,
people who
so-
skip the intro.
As you know, and if you don't, we're huge fans of Ghostbusters.
We are. I'd have worn
We
my
have
Ghostbusters t-shirt, but I don't have one.
What? You don't have one at all?
I lost it.
Oh, okay,
I
we'll
know.
fix that.
We'll fix
in
that.
the Christmas episode.
Christmas.
Only
It's over half a year away.
We're
in
several
spring.
months to go.
We're in spring.
Okay, so we had done a review on this year's Ghostbusters. So Frozen Empire,
Yeah.
which is a new Ghostbusters
Well, we hadn't
movie.
done the review. We talked about
Yeah. That's
how
where I was
excited
going.
we were, but we
About
haven't
the
reviewed it.
preview. Yeah, because we saw the trailer.
The preview review.
The preview review.
Preview
the
review?
trailer review. And we were super psyched about it.
Yep.
And we just recently went to see it.
And
Right? And
So we haven't discussed it at all, so we don't know if we like it or not. I know what I feel. I don't know what he feels.
It's funny
and vice versa.
You'll if you watched this week's YouTube short, it was our teaser for tonight's episode. We shot it on location.
And you know how I feel. You don't know how he feels.
Well,
all I know is he's got some comments.
Yeah, I have some comments, but yeah. So tonight is, have you seen Ghostbusters?
Frozen Empire.
Right?
Okay, so off the top, on a 6-pack scale, 1 to 6.
Okay.
How many beers would you give this movie?
Oh, I would give it 2 beers.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like it that much?
Yeah. I have a lot of issues.
I give it more than 2. I would give it a 4. It's not a 6, but I'd give it a 4.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, folks.
Okay.
Recently, it's been brought to my attention that when we do this type of show, or when we do diatribes, that I tend to rage, I guess would be the word, maybe too much.
No, it's good. Raging is good.
And the message...
Let the rage out. Come to the dark side.
And the message doesn't necessarily come through. So I was told maybe to work on being a little bit more zen when we talk about
anger management
issues. So I'm going through therapy. I'm sharing with you to try to compose myself and actually have a dialogue where we can properly exchange.
I'm part of the conversation. Yay!
So we can actually have a conversation, and you can be part of the conversation by adding comments or just listening along on this fine Therapy Thursday.
All right, so before we get to if you enjoy our show tonight, how do you share? You subscribe first,
right?
And then you like and share.
Right.
That's
like
right.
The Fonz. So thumbs up,
now,
subscribe. That's how sharing is caring. So we're going to share right now.
Before we get to your objections,
it's comments.
But yeah, but you only gave it 2 out of 6, which means there's more objections than positivity.
Yes, there is.
Do you want to address the negatives first or the positives first?
Well, it all depends how we can. Obviously, you can tell, folks, right? We don't script this out. This is on the fly. But what we can do, if you don't mind, we can go. I can throw out I'll give you a few. I'll start with the negatives, right? Because in any situations, you want to hear the good news or the bad news. I always want to hear the bad news first, right?
Okay.
So then you finish on a good note.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll start with the bad news.
Okay.
So first thing, before I have a drink, right? I hope you have a drink with you as well. That's proper Therapy Thursday night.
All right, I'm psyching myself up. Okay.
Okay. So, in one of our recent episodes, we claimed proudly that we fixed Hollywood with the whole Ghostbusters thing.
We were referring to Afterlife, of course.
Afterlife. And then when we saw the trailers for Frozen Empire, again, we were super proud of what we'd done for Hollywood.
Yeah.
My issue starts off with the fact that Hollywood went too far yet again. So they took what we told them to do and they went nuts with it. All right. So what I'm saying by that, I'm going to name off a few issues, and as they come up, issue number 1.
Okay.
Way too many characters in this movie. That drove me up the wall. I'm trying to stay calm, folks, because normally I'd be raging right now. Way too many characters that did not have anything that shouldn't even have been in the movie. Namely, we have the friends from
Afterlife who went to New York with them for some reason.
No, they had no room there. Not at all. And the only thing, when I saw it, I'm like, are you trying to tie in? Because you don't have to tie into the other movie. You already have the family unit.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome.
You don't need the Asian friend and I'm sorry, I don't know the characters' names. The Asian friend and the black girl, I forget their names. I apologize.
And you know what the sad thing about that is? I'm watching this movie and I was like, you have no reason to be here except that you're serving right now to check off one of the new Hollywood boxes going, okay, we got somebody from this, we got somebody from that.
The diversity box.
Exactly. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. You don't. And then that whole thing was way too much. And then you go to the lab, like, okay, if you haven't seen it yet, It's still worth
Spoiler
checking
alerts.
out just so you can see what we're talking about, but there will be some spoilers, by the way. So, when we find out that there's an actual lab, right? Well, there's more characters there. And then you have the new Ghostbusters, the old Ghostbusters. There's so many people, and even... Okay, so I'm trying to stay calm.
You can physically see him. Oh, okay.
I'm doing my best. So that's issue number one I had, was the fact that it was so much. And the
It was overcrowded.
Overcrowded, thank you.
Okay.
And with that, you lose character development. How many times have we talked about character development, how crucial it is? And I thought that when they gave us the movie prior to this, even though it was set like in the Midwest, and I'm like, it's not New York, and I was fine with it. Most people didn't actually. There's a lot of people that did not like that movie. I'm like, okay,
I liked it a lot.
I was happy because it was character development. They were setting it up, going, okay, this is the daughter, and this is the grandchildren. They're discovering his work, like all this thing. I was good with it. I'm like, okay, parts of it where there's a kind of at the end rehashing Ghostbusters in some way, but regardless, I was able to overcome that. And they're introducing this new dynamic, and at the end, like more of a family dynamic, like what a lot of people today live. It's like, okay, reconstructed family, right? I was good with that, and I was like, okay, so when we move on to the next movie, where you're gonna have which is we didn't have in the first one, would be the family dynamic. So like it's basically it's a family business.
I will agree with you. The family dynamic lacked. I mean, the younger daughter, they had some character development with her. She's going through something, but everybody else was just kind of there busting. They were more plot driven than character driven for this one.
Yes.
The daughter is really the only one who had a personal character growth arc. I felt sad for the son, who's really just, hey, I'm just flying driving the little dune buggy thing, or flying the drone thing, and other than that, I'm just busting. He doesn't really have a lot of character development, and even the Paul Rudd and the mom, you think you'd see how the relationship went to the next level.
Yes,
they're plot driven. They're not character driven.
And okay, so you're talking about the daughter.
Yeah,
I did not sign up. Oh, you're laughing already. I did not
stick a chick in it and make her gay.
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
If you haven't seen this episode right here, you'll know what we're talking about.
What I did not know I was buying a ticket to see a teen angst lesbian ghost movie. I'm like, what is
She's
going on?
not actually lesbian, but there's a lot of...
Oh, she's 100% lesbian.
I was going to say...
Go watch the movie. You'll know.
I was going to say, there's a lot of homoerotic undertones.
Oh
here.
my god. Okay, so the daughter is my second biggest issue.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And here's why.
Why?
So, in the first one, you get that she's intellectual, she's super introvert, right?
She tells funny, bad jokes.
Yeah. So, I actually liked that character, and I'm going, okay, realize what you're trying to do, Hollywood. You're trying to, oddly enough, they didn't replace her, an original male character with her. She's the granddaughter, which was 100% fine.
Yeah.
And then you had the goofy brother that, that just was
awkward teenager. Yeah,
he enjoyed it. He loves cars.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the Ecto, and he just loved it. And I was like, okay, this is great. You have like the son that's mechanical, right? And then you have the daughter that's a brilliant mind.
More scientific.
And I'm going, that is a perfect match. In the first
they're Spanglers. Yeah,
exactly.
they're Spanglers.
So it showed like both those sides. I'm like, oh man, that brother-sister dynamic is going to be awesome. So you have the guy that's mechanical, like the classic male...
Car guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's the car guy, the grease under the fingernails. He wants to get into it. He loves cars, he loves engines, he loves this whole thing. His sister's brilliant, so he can come up, and that mix would have been awesome. And the mom, I thought, was like, she would have been like, oh my God, these are my kids. They're doing awesome, and she could help out her kids. I said, okay, that's a great way to bring it up. But then we move on to this new movie, and the daughter's everything. She's super brilliant. She's the one, the movie starts off, she gets out of the gunner chair, and her brother, all he wants to do is drive. So he's not doing anything. in that scenario, what should have happened, and I realize it's doing what they did in their first movie, those characters in the last one, where she used the gunner chair. I would have loved if they would have put him, because he did modifications or whatever,
Yeah.
he would be the gung-ho one, and she would have been the daughter, or his sister in this case, going, okay, be careful, we've talked about, and be more worried about him, but he's the mechanic, he's the man's man, he's like full of testosterone, he's in his, young man, he's full of piss and vinegar and ready to take on the world. But they put him literally in the back seat, and you're doing nothing. You're going to be doing the little control-y thingy. And then she goes out and she's ghostbusting, and she's brilliant, and she's all these fun things. I'm like, oh my God, stop with this. We've seen it. You've done this so many times.
Okay, however, I do feel that while they could have tackled it differently, that was actually a setup to ground her, which is part of the plot.
Yeah, but that was horrible as well.
Okay, but
that grounding.
yeah, she's a minor. She shouldn't be doing these
but
things.
even if she
blah,
would have
blah,
been
blah.
they could have done that anyways. They could have given her brother
It would have been
a typical male role that we would want. Because if you got to imagine, they're trying to go after the new generation, right?
they're making her a girl boss.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's another girl boss, and the guy has no place in society. We have enough of these issues with having the young man of today not having anybody to look up to anymore. You can't expect our young men to keep looking up to girl bosses all the time.
Society comments, undertones.
You need
Yeah.
both.
All
And
right.
they had a perfect situation here where they could have done both. And I felt ripped off at that point. I'm going, why? Because even when she was benched, you're not going out. It still was about her. I'm like, you got a perfect opportunity where the brother could have stepped up.
Yeah.
But he has that little stupid moment with Slimer and going, really, that's all you're giving this guy?
They didn't give the other characters enough to
No,
work with
and that's what I
because
mean,
it was
it was too
overcrowded.
much.
Okay, I will.
Exactly.
I think that's that two bottles that is missing for me.
Yeah.
That's
So-
why I gave it a 4.
And that
But
was too much.
Okay.
And then the fact that you end up with another character again, like the dude that brings the original ball, you see him in the trailers where for some reason
I forget the actor's name. This guy
right here.
Yeah.
I mean, him as an actor did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But again,
Yes.
it's like character development. He goes from not even knowing about this until they show up at the apartment and find out that his grandmother
Yeah.
was kind of a warrior witch kind of
Yeah,
thing.
kind of like a guardian of this thing.
Guardian
Yeah.
for the demon. And then all of a sudden he's told, by the way, you're like your grandmother, so we're going to start practicing you while the demon is taking over Manhattan and all of New York. And
Rush training, huh?
but I'm like, he goes from that to all the Ghostbusters with all their equipment, not being able to take out the demon, but this guy that can barely do fire is going toe to toe with this thing. I'm going, oh my God, seriously.
How weak are these demons that a
Folks.
complete rookie can knock them out?
And then on top of that, the same demon is you saw this in the previews, folks, when all of New York gets covered in ice with the massive spikes and everything else. Nobody dies from that.
Well, that's
But-
a PG rating.
Yeah.
That's a
I
PG
realize
rating,
that, but the whole thing is that there's a scene that they show all of New York, let's say more Manhattan, is absolutely covered in ice. I'm going, oh my God, that demon is insanely powerful. And that's not what you get. You get this little dude that doesn't even know how to do fire. And then on top of that, there's a scene where our girl boss, she has the brilliant of idea of how to take, like, of course she does. She comes up with the idea of how to take this thing down. And then she saws one of the slipping poles in the fire station. And then she's able to melt it with a torch. And I'm like, in real time, never, ever, like that montage was horrible.
Smelting is a process. You need
And
something to...
And then she just dips it and then is able to use it right away and go, no, that thing actually... Anyways, there's a whole technical side to it. I'm going, this is absolute garbage. And then with all the Ghostbusters, and then she's dealing with her whole lesbian thing going on, and her lover that's a ghost is
This
the only
person here.
So that's right. So she does a good job in the role she's given, but she's set up to set up the daughter, and anyways, everything's convoluted. Because how do you want the demon to control the only hot-looking ghost in all of New York, and get she is
true.
She is literally the only hot ghost in all of New York.
She looks like a human. Everybody else is like a weird monster.
Like
the librarian still looks somewhat human, but can go demonic.
You're like,
and she looks like a normal. And you're like,
and she says, "Well, I died in the fire, and there's this nice little flames."
Side note. Have you ever seen the show Ghosts?
Ghosts.
Yeah, it was a UK show. There's a US version of it.
That sounds familiar.
Basically, this lady, she and her husband, they inherit this house. And
yeah.
In one of the early episodes, there's this one guy who died in the 90s, and now that a human can see them, she can turn on the TV for them. He's like, "We gotta watch Ghostbusters," and he starts telling them about Bill Murray. But then you see them at the end, they're like, "That was horrible," because they're ghosts now, and they're like, "What happened to that little green guy?" Because they don't look like humans, right? So like, what happened to that little green guy to look like that?
Exactly. And that's all the ghosts. And if you look at Ghostbusters, a lot of them are like creature-based more. And you're going, this one lesbian ghost, she's super hot with a little flame, so it makes it even literally hotter.
She's hot, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a whole at play. And she's hot, but she's hot. So she leads the daughter for her to become a ghost, and then anyways, that whole thing is like, how do you want the demon to even think that machine actually existed and she would volunteer? That whole thing, I was like, how? You can't even plan for that. There's no way. Everything was, even the plot, the way it was written, it was horrible. So what ends up, I'm trying to be super calm, folks. Usually I'd be losing my mind right now.
I can feel the restrained energy from him.
Okay,
so before you go on,
yeah. I have other issues, but yeah.
Before you go on, I'm going to say you have valid points, and I don't necessarily disagree with them.
Okay.
But at the same time, excuse me.
Oh, that was well brought up. Too bad you weren't.
At the same
Thanks, dude.
time,
I'm happy you're putting that big. That's awesome now. He appreciates it too.
Yes. At the same time, this is still a fantasy science fiction piece.
Yeah, I'm not even at the good part yet.
So you have to at one point suspend disbelief over certain things, because if you're going to analyze it too much about lacking logic and realism, then the film couldn't exist at all. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
at one point, you just have to say, you know what?
Yeah, but
of course it's goofy. I'm just going to go along for the ride. Do I get entertained? Yes. All right.
Yeah, but in the two original ones, you did suspend certain things, but it was still a good movie. That's why it still lasts, like so many years later. People still appreciate the two first movies, the one even more. But I'm going to wrap up the negatives, and I have way more than what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, so my biggest issues, right? All of these different things that are happening at the end, when our young girl boss steps up with her new pack, and she takes upon herself again. Like, oh man, I dislike that character so much.
I think they're trying to make her the incarnation of her grandfather.
No, but he wasn't like that. That's the thing. Is like they were a team. They were a team, and they didn't make this out to be a team. And it's not till the very end where everybody groups up and does their. I'm like, you should have done that way before, man. Like, this is horrible. Like, she should have realized, no, I can't do this without my family. That would have been an awesome dynamic.
Yeah, so, but no. If you're gonna be realistic, which teenager does that?
Well, that's right. That's what I mean.
Teenagers don't do that. They're gonna teenagers will actually say, "Fuck, I can do this
that's
myself."
where I was. My next thing was going to be my whole. When I was talking about the brother at the beginning with the gunner seat that comes out of the car, he would have been in there, and he has a role because he doesn't have a role in this movie at all. Like, he could have been literally, he could have stayed back home and not even be in the movie. He served no purpose whatsoever, and he could have served a huge purpose to have boys enjoy the movie and go on to the next level. But all they did in this movie is serve fan girls, hoping, and I'm like, Hollywood, specifically, you guys, we praised both writers and the director to make this a good movie, to continue, right, passing the torch. So they had a fantastic idea to create these characters, give us some background, all this fun stuff, and then all of a sudden they took everything and just ran with. It's almost like when they have superhero movies and you get to the third one, what do? They put 3 bad guys in.
Yeah.
Stop that. You don't have to. If you have a good story and a good character development,
All right,
you
so
don't
your main points is it's overcrowded. And
the girl boss issue.
It's the girl boss issue to the detriment of any other character development, and the whole
the demon
Kennedy
way too powerful,
stick a chick in it and make her gay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we end up with, this was my takeaway from it, is if this is the direction they want to go in, they should have never have made a movie. They should have done a 3-part, 6-part, 8-part streaming show. And then they could have developed each character moving forward and then have the big climactic ending to it, but develop all the characters, have their own things, have their own moments and everything else.
You condense it to 2 hours, they just picked one, rode with it, and everybody else was...
I felt empty when I left. So,
I'm sorry
on the positive side,
yeah,
visual, like the sheer visual
it's eye
candy of it.
It's eye candy. It's absolute eye candy. Yeah.
So the eye candy, Ghostbusters, like trolling us in, like if we're just having super fans go in to see the classic characters come back out.
Go back to the firehouse,
New York. I mean, the mayor, they could have not have him in there because that
Actually, I thought there was a nice little callback.
Yeah, but
because
even there, it doesn't make sense. Like
he's a career politician. He could still be around, and they needed an antagonist again, and he was hated as the antagonist in the first one when he was.
There's no way he would have been able to rise up like that. Anyways, that's a whole.
40 years later.
Again, I have
careers come and go.
He's part of the issues I have with the movie.
No, I have no issues with him.
He could have played a role, but again, that's another character that they threw in again. So, my thing with this is that I apologize for stating that we fixed Hollywood because apparently they did not listen appropriately. You went too far, too much.
Swing back to the middle.
Bring back.
Pendulum,
back.
come back to the middle.
Like this Ghostbusters should have been. This is what it should have been. It should have been a family movie, comedy. You had Paul Rudd. You didn't even use him appropriately. You had little snippets, little moments, but it's still not enough. If you would have developed his relationship with the mother, being at the firehouse, like that angst.
Have more of the dating and working together and with the kids.
Imagine if they're dating and they get a call like, okay, Ghostbusters come, you gotta go, and then having the kids again. They put all into that one young female character when they could have split that in half. Give some to her, give her the brains, because we know going to universities now, 3/4 of it is girls, so they could definitely identify to the intellectual side of things. And I you know what? I'm telling you right now, I know girls are smarter than we are. So have the girl Brainiac, that side of her grandfather, have him being, like I said, oil under the fingernails, have him be like he's under the hood. He wants to do the mechanicals, and them, that dynamic together would have been phenomenal.
All right.
So then you get your female, you get your fangirls, and you get your fanboys cheering, and then you have also, which you rarely see today, an actual family dynamic where he's trying to be a dad, doesn't know where he fits, and you see.
I will say there was that one comment at the end where one of them called him dad, and he's like, he doesn't know how to take it, but. None of the movie played up to that, so I'm like, where did this come from? Like, had they had the awkwardness with the parental stuff,
there's the one time that he goes and talks to her door, but she's already gone, and he's trying to live up to that.
Yeah,
going,
I feel like there were scenes left on the cutting room floor,
and
that would have filled that gap,
dude. So, again, in the previews, like in the trailers, there's scenes that we never see in the movie.
I'd have to watch it again because I don't.
Check out the trailers if you haven't seen the movie. When you see the movie, before you see the movie, look at the trailers, and then when you watch the movie, you'll go, "Where's this? Where's this? Where's that? Where's it?" Like there's a whole. You know that movie, and that's why I said it should have been a mini-series on a streaming service.
You know, it's possible there's another half hour on the cutting room floor.
Oh, half hour.
And when they release the DVD, there's going to be like extended version that'll fill in all the gaps.
I can guarantee you that's like a 6-hour movie that they condense it to 2.
Yep.
It has to be.
Right,
There's
so
no way. It
Hollywood,
doesn't make sense.
So what you need to do instead is take the Netflix approach and don't make a movie. Make a 6 to 8 episode series. Each episode about an hour, and you get your character development, and you still cover your plot.
So right now, the 2 main writers. And they both writers each directed a movie, right? This is their names here.
Yep.
This is my message to you. I will never, ever, ever, and I am a diehard fan, I will never go see another Ghostbusters movie in theaters. This is my promise to you, and I have a lot of fans that will do the same. I'm remaining calm right now for the sake of putting this message through you. If you plan on continuing with this family, with this setup, make it a series, a mini series. Do character development. If you do proper character development, things that little plot holes will be forgiven if the characters are likable. I'm telling you right now, I feel bad for that young actress. Dude, what's her name? The one that played the girl boss. Thank you. I feel bad for her because that character is not likable. She's a horrible character the way she was written in this specific movie.
I liked her in the first one.
In the first one I thought
I liked her bad joke. She was awesome.
Yeah.
I still to this day I still remember, and I haven't seen the movie in years, is when she tells her she's facing Zool and she's like telling bad jokes to distract it, and she's like, a grasshopper walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Hey, we have a drink named after you." And it says, "You have a drink named Steve?" I just thought that was hilarious. Her delivery is perfect.
But that's what I mean, is that character, and then they screwed it up.
Oh, well.
So,
All
message to Hollywood. Again, we told you what to do. You did it, but you went too far. Pull it back. You don't need to go so far. This is not your 3rd installment where you can put down 3 bad guys. You can just relax.
It's the 4th.
I know. Okay, so
right.
4 bad guys.
So you had Dude's opinion on the movie.
But the good side, okay, like I said, it was eye candy, like you said. I'm almost done. Dude, this is a passion of mine.
I know.
Okay, so, I'm not even angry. See, this is a good thing. I should be angry.
I'll give you my opinion on a future episode.
No. You can
when I actually have a chance to talk about it.
You can talk too.
No, because they've been here over a half hour already. They're tired.
Go get another drink.
They're tired.
So, all I'm going to say is I enjoyed the spectacle of it. Okay, I'm done. That's it. That's the only part I like.
I only have time to add one comment.
No, you got more. You can say. I won't say anything
Bill
else.
Murray looks old.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I've always been a fan of Bill Murray, but oh my god, he looks like he should be playing one of the ghosts now. Love you, Bill. Apologies, but you look old. All right. On that note...
No, nothing. You don't want to add anything?
No, I think I'm going to let them see it for themselves, because right now we've been talking about it for over half an hour.
How many beers again? 4 beers out of 6, you said.
I gave 4 beers out of 6.
Okay,
I did not have as many issues as you did. I can see your point on these issues. I'm not going to rehash them. But yeah, I basically, to me, it was the whole character development, family dynamic that was missing. Yeah. Overcrowding, I'm like, I can see your point. I didn't feel that way while I was watching it. In hindsight, maybe, but in the moment, I could just go with the ride. But I felt they didn't use the characters well enough to the detriment of really pushing the girl and just the girl.
Yeah.
Other than that, I enjoyed it. It was still a silly, fun ride.
It was a team movie. This is not a team. They made it again around.
They made it about her and the sidekicks.
Exactly. So I'm not, folks. Go see it. I'm still saying go see it so you can make up your own mind about it. Specifically, after mostly I've spoken about it. Sorry, I tried my best. Usually, you wouldn't have said as much as you did, because I would have had way more to say about this. So,
all right,
for all of you out there that made those comments, I hope I lived up to being a little bit more zen and sharing a little bit more what I had to say. But 2 out of 6 beers, and the 2 is only because we have the original Ghostbusters in there. We're back in New York. We have the firehouse, all that fun stuff. So beyond that, I hope you watch us next week. Chime in again. We'll have something completely new for you.
And maybe I'll get to say something else.
Yeah. I try my best.
See you next Thursday.
Cheers. See you next time.